Good evening. Good evening. I feel very fortunate that Tim has given me the chance to welcome all of you here this evening. Tim Siegel gave 23 years of his life to this university as our tennis coach. And I think it's wonderful that he and Jenny and his family still remain such an important part of the Texas Tech family and the broader community. Your presence here tonight is an emphatic statement of our love for Tim, Luke, Jenny, and the entire family, and I thank you for that. Grace Hernandez is my chief of staff and a very dear friend, and I told her that I felt somewhat terribly inadequate to say something that would give some meaning to this ceremony and this event. But Grace shared with me that she has a granddaughter who has multiple sclerosis. And she told me some of the experiences of their family. And from what Grace shared with me, I think I had a better understanding of how Luke is such a special blessing to the Siegel family and to all of us by the daily example of inspiration that he provides to us. Simply by his perseverance and the support and perseverance of his family, he shows all of us how precious and beautiful life can be, even when faced with extraordinary difficulties and circumstances. So I would say that Luke, and Tim, and Jenny, and the family, I marvel at your fortitude, at your hope, at your perseverance, and most of all, at your love, the love that you're willing to share with all of us. So Luke, I want you to know you're a great inspiration to all of us, and to all of you, thank you for being here.
I was grateful to get to know Luke as his football coach, and I watched him chase a young man down from about 40 yards before he got in the end zone when everybody else had given up, and that is Luke's spirit. He's a fighter, and tonight we're gonna acknowledge that God is here with us fighting for the families and for the children that have been impacted by brain injuries. So if you will, we're gonna bless the food and just acknowledge God's presence in the room tonight. God, I want to praise you first that you're a God of hope and healing. You're a God of blessing. You're a God that's a provider. Tonight, I just pray over all of the families that are impacted by brain injuries, all the children, and just pray that you'd be that hope and that healing and that provider of strength and energy for them on a daily basis. God, I also pray that you would convict us to continue to fight for them, continue to pray for them. Thank you for providing our food tonight, and thank you for being present with us. Amen.
Thank you, sir. Hello, everybody. On behalf of everyone involved with Team Luke Hope Reminds, welcome. We're so glad and so blessed that all of you are with us tonight. If we haven't met, my name is Brian Mudd. I'm with KMAC News here in town, and I could not be more thrilled just to be back with you for this great night. Coach Vitale is with us, and if you know him or know of him, you know he gets a little nervous speaking in front of people. So just a real withdrawn kind of guy. So we need to bring him out of his shell just a little bit tonight. And so here's what I want you to do, guys. I want you to cheer just as loud for him as you would for Coach Beer's Red Raiders. Can you do that for me? Can you do that for me tonight? Just to make sure that he knows and remembers West Texas wherever he goes tonight. Hey, it goes without saying, we know that a traumatic brain injury is a huge emotional and physical and financial strain on everyone involved. And those families in Texas and all over need our love and support. And I know you feel the same because, folks, you're here with us tonight. And so many of us in the Lubbock area have followed Luke Siegel's story for several years now. And we're so appreciative of Tim and Jenny just for letting us in with that struggle and letting us all be a part of Luke's ups and downs, and more important, Luke's improvement. And the services provided by Team Luke Hope for Minds is based on the belief that all of our kids can improve if just given the information, the therapeutic help, the right equipment to help. And yes, I did say our kids with that. Watching his progress, I feel like Luke is part of my family, part of our South Plains family, and so is Hannah and Caden and Tanner and Riley and Spencer and all the kids. Maybe we showed some of them on our screen earlier on, and all those families as well, wondering sometimes how they're going to make it through the next day. But we're going to help them do that tonight, aren't we? Our silent auction, again, is up and running in the back right now. Make sure you get some bids down. We've got some great live auction experiences, really, coming up here in just a little bit. Our merchandise, again, to pick up both sides of the room tonight includes Tim Siegel's new book called In God's Hands that you must read. I promise you, it's fantastic. You will not be disappointed there. And speaking of, we got to hear from the author and one of my heroes as well, and I know he's one of yours and Luke's as well, as Lubbock, Tim Siegel. Let's give him a hand.
Wow. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, every single one of you that are here tonight. It means the world to my wife, my family. It means the world for Team Luke Hope for Minds. I want to start by thanking our sponsors, McGavick Family Dealerships, all the sponsors on the board you see. Without them, this wouldn't be possible. The Texas Tech Staff Arena, fantastic. The job they've done for us, thank you so much. To my staff, you see these 800 people, 100 tables. It took us a long time these last couple of days. I want to mention Chelsea, Tony, Kim, Kristen, Kate, Christina, and Mackenzie. Thank you all so much. Rhonda Johnson, stand up, please. Big hand for Rhonda Johnson. Rhonda, I've said this before, that my wife is my life, and Rhonda Johnson in some ways saved my life. I met Rhonda a couple of years ago. She had started Hope for Minds, a similar nonprofit to what I have. I drove to Austin. After 3 hours, I decided we need to merge. So in January of 2018, we started the Team Luke Hope for Minds nonprofit. I want to thank my board members. I have an incredible group of people, 15 board members from Houston, from Austin, from Lubbock. I would like to also acknowledge a few people as well. I'd like to start with my family, my wife, the rock of our family, the MVP, the point guard, the quarterback, and Dick Vitale would like this, the PT peer of our family, my wife, Jenny. Kate and Ellie, my teenage daughters. My daughter, Alex, who has provided our family with joy I didn't know that I could ever have again. She has a little boy named Tommy. She's also carrying 2 little boys, and she'll be due in September. So I'm excited about that. Being a grandfather is fantastic, so thank you for that. My wife's birthday is tomorrow. So what I would ask you to do, we're not going to sing happy birthday, but my wife loves attention. And so if you could do me a favor, on your way out, please give her a hug. I also want to mention my good friend, Bobby Bank. If anyone in this room is blessed to have a friend that means the world to you, you're fortunate. I've known Bobby since I was 11 years old. I met Bobby across the net in the finals of the Boys 12 National Doubles, 1976. He's so special that there's a chapter in my book just for him. So for that alone, you need to buy that book. So thank you, Bobby. I'd also like to acknowledge and I'm going to say our athletic director because although I'm not at Texas Tech anymore, I'm still at Texas Tech. I will always be at Texas Tech. This place was amazing for me for 23 years. I made the decision to resign on July 8th, 2015, so that I could spend more time with my family. 20 days later, I got a phone call that my son was in an accident. So I spent a lot less time. But we're all blessed to be in this incredible building, this arena. And I'd like to acknowledge Kirby Hokut, who's done an incredible job as our athletic director. A big hand for Kirby Hokut. My good friend Patricia Jensen is here all the way from Atlanta. She has two sons who won the French Open. How about that? Sons that won the French Open in doubles. She means the world to us. I also see my good friends Simon and Tiffany Robinson. I've known them since college. So many of you that are here, I'm so appreciative, so appreciative. Speaking of Texas Tech, Wes Kitley is in the house. He's won a few conference championships. I believe that's 4 in a row. A big hand for our track coach, Wes Kitley. We also have the tennis coaches, Todd Petty and Brett Macy, a couple of Big 12 champions as well. And Coach Matt Wells. Coach Wells came to my house a few weeks after he arrived, spent an hour talking about Luke, talking to Luke. He was touched. I saw a tear in his eyes. You all will soon know, we will all soon know how great a coach he is. But one thing I can tell you, and I know he's been all over Lubbock talking, he is a first-class individual. We are so blessed to have Coach Wells here. Thank you, Coach. This building means so much to me. I used to take my daughters and my son Luke to games. We sit in the front row, somewhere around here. We've been doing this for years. There is not a bigger Texas Tech fan than Tim Siegel. And that hasn't changed. And I come to games still with Luke and with Kate and with Ellie. This building has so many great memories, but it's also very difficult for me. It's so bittersweet. When I watch Texas Tech defeat Kansas, I walked the corridor the entire time because we couldn't get too low for the noise. But this place will always mean so much to me. I think all of you that know our story know how much Luke loves sports. There's not a greater fighter that I've ever been around in my life than my son Luke. He was a competitor, and he is still a competitor. And he loves sports so much, and we get out in the town all the time. And I have a couple of videos I want to show you. They're just a few seconds long to show you how much the community has meant to Luke. I'm going to start with Lubbock Christian Baseball. I'd like to show you the video now. That was a special day. It's not easy for me to be on a baseball field at all. Matter of fact, it may be the most difficult thing that I deal with every single day when I drive past the baseball fields, because all I picture is my son. But thank you, Lubbock Christian University. But the greatest video that I've ever seen, and I mean ever, you're about to see, and you may have already seen this, because 115,000 views. It was when Luke was honored at the Texas Tech football scrimmage, and here it is. Team Luke Hope for Minds was established last year. My son Luke is the reason why it's called Team Luke Hope for Minds. But Team Luke Hope for Minds is much, much greater than my son Luke. Last year, Rhonda and I and many others helped raise $900,000, and we gave over $250,000 to families in 14 different states. This year alone, in 4 months, we've had almost 50 applicants, 50 people, 50 families that need our help, financial support, equipment, therapies, counseling. It's heartwarming, but it's also heartbreaking. But there is nothing more special for me than to help others. Luke and I, for the last 20 months, have been traveling to Fort Worth for special therapy at the Neurological Recovery Center. And I'm happy to say, especially to my family, that that's going to be coming to an end pretty soon, because in July, partnering with one of our amazing partners, Covenant, we are bringing that very robotic machine here to Lubbock, and I want to show you what that machine looks like. That particular day, Luke walked a mile, 53 minutes. I was so excited about that. I went back to the hotel and saw what it did to him. He was pretty much raw in his legs. But I didn't hear a sound out of him. He just walked. That robotic machine that we're bringing to Lubbock is going to help children, but it's also going to help adults. Adults with spinal cord injuries, stroke, Parkinson's, MS. I'm so grateful that we're able to give back not only to the rest of the country, but here in Lubbock, Texas. I think of two words when I think of Luke and when I think of Team Luke Hope for Minds, and it's hope and faith. We didn't have a lot of hope on July 28, 2015, and I'm not sure we had a lot more hope on January 6, 2016 when we came home. But one thing that I'm able to do to families when they call me and they say, listen, I was told that my son or daughter should go into a home, that my son or daughter will never get better. And I'm going to tell them what I believe, and that with love and support and therapy and faith, your child will get better. Because I was told that Luke would never use his limbs or use his voice. He's doing both. When I asked Luke to move his tongue, if he thinks the Saints are going to win, or if he thinks Texas Tech is going to beat Texas, that tongue moves. When I ask him if he thinks that Texas Tech would lose to Baylor, that tongue doesn't move. He is in there. If you can imagine for a few seconds, you close your eyes and you're trapped in your body, but you understand what is being said, but you can't respond. And there's a sound right there because he hears Dad's voice. Every Friday, we have what's called Family Friday, Team Luke Hope for Minds, on our website and our social media. And we've helped a number of families, as I mentioned. We've now put together, I would love for you to pay attention to the video. We have a 7-minute video to show you some testimonials from some families. Thank you.
My name is Jamie, and this is Spencer. Spencer suffered an anoxic brain injury July 2008 while we were vacationing in Brevard, North Carolina. He is 13 and a half years old now and has come very far. in his recovery. I just want to thank Hope for Minds and Team Luke and the foundation for all the emotional support they provided, the occupational therapy through a program called the Listening Program, and the In Time program to help with his impulsivity, mood control, concentration. At that time, Spencer was unable to feed himself. He was unable to perform any activities of daily living himself. Today, through much therapy, much speech, much OT, and just a lot of emotional support, he's come a long way with even longer ways to go. I know that Spencer is a miracle. I believe in miracles, and I know that he is going to come even further. I just want to say thank you, and thank you again, Foundation, Hope for Minds, Team Luke, for everything that you do for these children with acquired brain injury. And I'd like to have Spencer tell you thank you as well. Thank you. Good luck. We pray for all the children out there that struggle with these problems after acquired brain injury. And thank you again, Hope for Minds, Team Luke.
We would like to take the opportunity to thank Team Luke Hope for Minds for giving us $5,000 to come here and do hyperbaric oxygen treatment with Dr. Harch. We thank all the sponsors and donors that made this possible to help children with traumatic brain injury and their families. Again, thank you, Team Luke Hope for Minds, for giving us this opportunity. God bless.
I wanted to say thank you to Luke Hope for Minds for making it possible for Chanel to get stem cells in Idaho. Thank you for the funding. We really appreciate it, and thank you from the bottom of our hearts. God bless. Thank you.
Hi guys, this is Elijah. He is enjoying his new stroller that was donated by Team Luke Hope for Minds. Just wanted to say thank you. We appreciate it so much. You know, he's doing so great in it. He loves it. You know, and also they helped us get to stem cells, so we are so grateful for you guys.
Hi, Team Luke Hope for Minds. It's Ashley and DJ here. We want to say thank you to all of the supporters that help Team Luke Hope for Minds do what they do. DJ traumatic brain injury came as a result of recurrent brain tumors, malignant brain tumors. And after 3 recurrences, the effects of going and taking them out of the brain have caught up with him. And the most significant one that, little brother in the background, the most significant issue that DJ deals with is left hemiparesis, but also intractable seizures. So DJ's neurologist suggested us try CBD oil. Here in Texas, and as well as everywhere nationwide, it is not FDA approved, so it's not covered by insurance. And at the time, it was going to cost us a lot of money that we couldn't afford, and Team Luke Hope for Minds kind of came in and helped us afford it for the last 6 or 7 months. We thank God that Epidiolex was approved by the FDA, so now the financial strain isn't so hard on us anymore. You can see there's one kid going crazy back there, one ready to fall asleep. So we just want to say thank you once again. Besides the financial support, the ability to go to a support group or have counseling. Even DJ was hospitalized for a good month and a half at the beginning of this year, and Team Luke Hope for Minds reached out to us to help us find out what other services were available, to help us pay for all of our medical expenses. So there's a lot that Team Luke encompasses, so when you support them, you're supporting a whole family, financially, spiritually, in more ways than I can ever say. So we just want to say thank you and appreciate all that you do. Thank you for supporting them and their mission and their cause. We are extremely grateful. Thank you.
Thank you, Team Luke, for Joy's awesome stroller. This is exactly what she needed, and we just couldn't be happier. Joy, say thank you.
Say it loud.
Thank you.
All right, everybody.
Thank you, Team Luke.
Hi, my name is Lynn Pugliese, and this is my son, Hunter. We are here at Dr. Paul Harsh's hyperbaric facility in New Orleans, and we want to thank Team Luke, Hope for Minds, for helping us get here. We did not raise enough funds to be able to stay here the whole time for Hunter's hyperbaric treatments, but thanks to Team Luke, Hope for Minds, we were able to do that. Hunter suffered an anoxic and a traumatic brain injury November 22nd, 2014. And he is now here doing hyperbaric treatments with Dr. Harsh. You see Dr. Paul Harsh, we're at his facility. And we want to just thank Team Luke, Hope for Minds. They are a wonderful organization, and they help families whose children suffered brain injuries. So just shout out to Luke. Can you say shout out to Luke? And thank you all so much. We greatly appreciate it. Go Team Luke.
Yeah.
Can you say that?
Luke.
All right. Go Saints.
Once again, thank you all so much for being here. At this time, we have a couple of basketball coaches. They're going to speak for a few minutes before Dick Vitale gets up. Our head women's basketball coach, when Luke came to practice a couple of weeks before the season ended, it was so touching. The team, after I spoke, all got together with Luke, took a picture, and I received a letter from each and every one of their players. So special. We've got a special coach here, and you wait for this 2019 season. Things are looking great for women's basketball. Coach Marlene Stallings.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you to Tim for inviting me to say a few words tonight. I was very, very moved to just be asked to come up here. And what an event. I mean, you look to your left, you look to your right, and the room is completely packed for such a great cause. And it's interesting how life goes sometimes and how things bring us together and bind us as a community. And this has obviously been one of those things. You know, I think back to when I arrived just a little under a year ago, or over a year ago, and this gentleman came into my office, and my head was spinning. I was doing a million things, and he said, you know, can I just get a couple minutes of your time? And I said, absolutely, sure. We didn't get much past the doorway, and then the gentleman was Tim, and he said, I have some gifts to give you, and I just want to talk to you for a few minutes. So he got my attention right away. He had a presence and a spirit about him, almost a little bit of urgency. And he started telling me a story about coaching here and how he retired and ultimately what happened to Luke. And the more he talked, the more I felt like my jaw was dropping, and I could not believe this story. And I thought about, you know, several things started going through my mind, one of which is probably going through your mind. What if that happened to me or my family or one of my kids? What would I do? And I'm not sure. I don't know that I could answer that. But what I do know is what Tim and his family have done is amazing, absolutely amazing. As he was telling me a story, I thought of a couple quotes from Hall of Famers that have since passed in women's basketball. The great Kay Yow at NC State. And one of her famous quotes is, when life kicks you, let it kick you forward. I was thinking about that as I thought of Tim and his family. Another one I thought of is the late, great Pat Summitt at Tennessee. She dealt with Alzheimer's and eventually passed away. Left foot, right foot, breathe. Left foot, right foot, breathe. All this is going through my head as he's telling me the very shortened version of his story. And I was just in awe. And he brought us gifts on top of all of that. It's just incredible. So as the weeks and months passed and I learned more and more about Luke's story, it really moved me, and it moved our staff and our team. And as Tim mentioned, he and Luke eventually came by one of our practices, and it was in the heart of our season. And most of you know that we came in to rebuild the program, and the program had been on some hard times, and we were in the midst of losing about 10 games by single digits. It was really, really difficult for us. And then Luke and Tim came by practice. And, I'm just suffering. 10 games, single digits. And you're right there, you can't get over the hump. And he came in, and they came to speak after practice here in the arena, and he positioned Luke, the jump ball circle. As he said, Luke's an adamant sports fan, so that's where we put Luke and or placed Luke, and we went over to our bench, and we sat, and Tim told the in-depth version of the story. We were sitting right over there, team and staff, and there wasn't a dry eye in the arena, just listening to the raw details of what they deal with the moment the tragedy happened and what they deal with every single second of every single day. There's not a break. Even in the middle of the night, they asked to get up and turn Luke every 3 hours. I kept going back to that left foot, right foot, breathe. Like, how would we handle that, It's really moving. And he gives our team hope, inspiration, perseverance on a daily basis. Those 10 losses weren't so bad. Put perspective on it for us and gave us a little push to end the season. That's much bigger than anything with our team, obviously, but that's an example of the inspiration that it gave our young women who were hearing the story for the first time, and really me, because I had not heard the entire story until that moment. And I think the neat thing about tonight is that we get to be part of the greater good here tonight. We get to leave here feeling really, really good about ourselves and what we're able to contribute. What if that was someone in my family? What if that was my child? What would I do, right? What would we do? Well, we can do the only thing at this moment that we can do, and that is to support this organization and give something, at whatever it may be, to help and be part of the greater good for Luke and his family and all of the people nationally that he and his wife, Tim and his wife, have chosen to help. It's just an incredible family. Thank you for allowing us to be up here for a few moments as women's basketball. And thank you all for being here.
Interesting hearing about one foot, right foot, left foot. Well, my motto is one foot in front of the other. A few years ago, I was at Market Street, because we love United. We love Market Street. And I didn't want to be there, and I ended up having my head down, and I got a knock on my window, and someone said, "I'm praying for you, one foot in front of the other." Then they walked away. I also was thinking about people that are here. Dr. Naj did surgery on Luke. Dr. Pinkney, others, to see that there are people here who basically kept Luke alive that are here in this audience. Incredible. And speaking of incredible, we have a basketball coach that is truly, we all know, is one of the greatest basketball coaches in the country. Forget that. What you don't know, or you may not know as well as I do, is what a person he is. There is no one, and I mean no one, that has been more supportive of my son Luke and of Team Luke Hope for Minds than Chris Beard. We come to practice a lot. We've been to almost every game we can come to. And I'll never forget this. Chris Beard is walking through that tunnel, about to play Kansas. He stops and gives Luke a kiss on his forehead. He means so much to us. And to illustrate how special he is, watch this video.
You can get a big Chanel back in the store if you want it. I gave him the drip, they set it up, I got him on it. I bought a new Radic, I had to wait till I taking these drugs, I'm gonna wait till you call it, just to listen, you don't know. If I'm in the club, I gotta fuck on the phone. In the back of your desk, can't be in and out. Stop the law, cute, they all on it. I'm from Atlanta when y'all I know they hating on me, but I don't be calm. Whenever I tell her to come, she gon' come. Whenever it's smoke, we ain't running.
Ladies and gentlemen, the greatest basketball coach in the country, Chris Beard.
Thank you, Tim. Nights like tonight remind me how lucky I am to live in Lubbock, Texas, and it doesn't surprise me, but the turnout tonight, I want to echo what Tim was saying earlier. Just whenever something is needed in Lubbock, people show up, and I tell our guys all the time, the most important thing you have is your time. It's more important than your money. It's more important than resources. Your time is everything. And so again tonight, to look out here and see all these people, it just makes me proud to live in Lubbock. And I want to echo what Tim said earlier. I want to thank each of you for being here tonight. I'll talk real briefly today. I want to introduce a couple people, though, but we're really lucky tonight to have Coach Vitale here. I had the pleasure of actually spending some time with him just a few days ago in his home state of Florida, raising money for another great cause. And what I would tell you, Coach, is tonight in West Texas, you're going to feel the passion that you live your life with and the passion that you help others with. This is so much important to us tonight than any basketball game or football game or university. Like this is real for us in West Texas. The Siegel family is everything to us. But I want to thank you before a million other people. Thank you tonight for spending your time to come here and be a part of us tonight in Lubbock. It means the world to us, Coach, and we're really glad you're here. Thank you. He's also the best speaker I've ever heard, so I better get out of here pretty quick or I'm going to embarrass myself. But I also want to recognize, I appreciate Tim's compliments. Make me kind of nervous when people talk about what kind of coach we might be. But in my opinion, the greatest coach in the history of college basketball is here tonight. And he was my boss for 8.5 years. And Coach Knight's here tonight. And I want to recognize Coach. Really, since I've left Coach Knight, and I've had a chance to be a head coach a lot of different places, including now at Texas Tech, it's really simple what I've always wanted to do. I've always just kind of wanted to make Coach Knight proud. And wherever we've been, we've won, and we've won with integrity, and we graduate our players. And in some small way, I hope that we return everything Coach did for us when he, hopefully finds some enjoyment with our teams. It's like in Myrtle Beach, I'll never forget when we won a championship, somebody said, "Man, your teams play with the shot selection of Coach Knight." I took that as a huge compliment. And in McMurray, when we competed for championships, same thing. Your teams defend like a Coach Knight team. And I always thought that was, that was special. Then at Angelo State, when we made an NCAA tournament at Sweet 16, graduated 100% of our players, people said, "Man, you graduate guys like Coach Knight did." I thought that was a huge compliment. And then most recently here at Texas Tech, when we're one possession away from winning the national championship, and Tom Izzo in the game leading to the championship game, the Final Four game, after the game said, "Chris, your teams are so tough. It's like a Bob Knight team. They're tough." And I took that as a huge compliment. And then later that night, I started thinking about that, and people always said, "Hey, I always thought Coach Knight was the toughest person I ever met, and I always wanted to be like him." And in some small way, I hope he finds enjoyment in the way our teams play. But it's just wrong if I told you that Bob Knight's the toughest guy I ever met. He's not. The toughest guy I ever met is Luke Siegel. Yeah, period. The toughest guy I've ever met is Luke Siegel. Period. And in closing tonight, I would just tell you, last year I think I always talk about Tim and Jenny and the family, and I never get tired of talking about the love of this family and the commitment. They're role models to everybody, not only in Lubbock, but just in the world to me. But tonight, in just a few seconds, I want to talk about Luke. You know, Luke is the toughest guy I've ever met. He does things every day that the so-called experts said that he wasn't going to do. He inspires so many people. I struggle myself personally, like I know a lot of you do too. Why do these things happen? Why did this happen to Luke? But as time goes on and every chance I get to be around Luke and Tim and the family, I just think there's a greater cause. I mean, Luke helps so many people every single day. And I have no doubt that this world we're all living in now is a short life. I really believe that. And I think Tim will be back on the baseball field with Luke, you know, sooner than later. I believe that. That's my faith. I believe that. But back to Luke, this guy is so tough. And from time to time, Tim will say gracious things like, we've done something for Luke in a small way with our basketball team. But I promise you, Luke has done so much for our team a millionfold. There's timeouts in tough games where players will say, what would Luke do? When we say the word Luke in our team, it means toughness. It means perseverance. And it's always just a highlight when Luke comes by practice and stuff. So, again, tonight, there's a lot of people to recognize and a lot of people to thank. But I just want to thank Luke. I want to thank Luke for being an inspiration for me, our teams, and everybody in this room. I know you can hear me, Luke. Thank you. In closing, you know, when you're a coach and you build programs and you win, you don't mind asking people for help. You don't mind asking for people what you need. You know, I tell the guys all the time, if you can't explain to people or verbalize or ask for what you need, then you're never going to get it. And it's just like here, you know, I have the luxury of working with Kirby Hocutt, in my opinion, the best AD in the country, and I tell Kirby all the time what I need. And he usually says yes. He a lot of times says maybe, and just every once in a while he says no, but I tell him what we need. And so tonight, I have no problem telling everybody in this room, we need to raise some money tonight. And everybody has a level of what you can give. Some of us have been blessed more than others, but everybody in this room has some type of level where you can help financially for this great cause tonight. So I encourage you to do so. I'm asking you to do so. And if I find out that you didn't give, I'm going to give Coach Knight your address, and he's going to come by tomorrow and have a little talk with you. So, but no, please, let's all give tonight. Let's make this a great night. Let's raise some real money for a great cause. And in closing again, thank you, Luke, and thank you for everybody that's here tonight. I'm honored to be here.
Coach, thank you so much. You know, we got to thank some of our friends tonight, and Tim did some of that. I want to thank our friends at Truvita Pets. Truvita, a Lubbock-based pet nutrition company made possible by Dr. Michael Ballou, who I believe is with us tonight. They make high-quality grain-free dog food and daily supplements and nutritious baked treats for your pets. Here's the great thing. We're all going to buy this for our pets anyway. They partnered with Team Luke Hope for Minds. You just sign up online to get your pet supplies through them, and then they've agreed to, if you use the coupon code Team Luke in your first order, they'll donate 25% of whatever you spend with them for life to the Team Luke Hope for Minds Foundation. So there's some little black cards on your tables. I want you to look for those tonight. So that's something special too. A lot of our great sponsors are doing some wonderful things. I want you to remember them as you go about your business. Let's bring on the star of the show. I'm tired of waiting. We got to hear him talk. You know him from over 2 decades of calling the shots on ABC and ESPN, bringing the glories of basketball to viewers and listeners all around the world. You know him from appearances on the big screen, playing himself in films like The Naked Gun and Hoop Dreams and Blue Chips and He Got Game. You know him from the way he's altered the English language a little bit in a good way, because no one rips out an awesome baby like our Coach Vitale. But you don't know Dick Vitale, though, until you've been coached by him. This is a man who led high school athletes, college stars, and the NBA's Detroit Pistons to victory. More important, he's inspired millions of viewers and readers and listeners to uncover new roads to success on the court and off. Best-selling author of books like Vitale, Getting a W in the Game of Life, Living a Dream. He translates the formula for sports success, meaning teamwork and dedication and enthusiasm and goal setting, into practical applications that are relevant to each and every one of us. A man of boundless passion, he has received innumerable honors for his leadership and philanthropy. He knows what it takes to be a winner and knows how to pass those lessons on, and how lucky are we tonight. Welcome, coach, journalist, author, media star, Dick Vitale.
Wow, what an introduction. How do I follow that? Now, he read that exactly like I wrote it. I can tell you that. And I know one thing. I wish I had your looks and that hair. I'd be a TV star, man.
Some of us are trying.
Oh,
You
wow.
got it.
Well, thank you. Before I get started, I've been so touched already. I mean, emotionally and every other way. Flying down here today with my wife said to me 3 hours flying down, she said, please read this book. And I read the book for 3 hours. It's in God's hands. Tim Siegel. Please buy it. Please buy it. I guarantee you can't get to the second page without tears rolling down your eyes. Buy it. But before I get started, I want everybody in this room to stand up and cheer for the real stars of tonight. My guy Luke, who I met at his house today, the Siegel family, I want you all to give them a standing ovation right now. Last time I was in this arena, really special in a way. I have a new book out. In my book, all the dollars from it go to kids battling cancer. But the reason it's special to me, because in the house here today is a coach that's very special, as Chris Beard talked about. I know Chris got his doctorate in coaching by working those 8 years under the general, as I would call him on TV, Robert Montgomery Knight. But in my new book, it's my 40 years at ESPN, and it's my Mount Rushmores, the best of the best, the 4 best coaches in my 40 years, and the list goes on, all different categories. But you know the 4 best coaches. The first one is Robert Montgomery Knight. Coach Knight, please stand. I want Coach Knight to please stand. I was here to do 2 games with Coach Knight. He's right. That's the coach, baby. You can't take the coach away from him. I tell you, I was here twice. When he started his career here after Indiana, and then when he set a record to become the winningest coach in the history of college basketball. It was a great night, a great memory being here as he broke Dean Smith's record. But tonight really is about Coach Tim Siegel. Coach, what you're doing to help others is unbelievable. Affecting lives. You see Luke right now sitting there. Luke is helping people. The inspiration that he provides by being here is unbelievable. Chris mentioned we had a big gala on Friday night. My gala was to help kids battling cancer. And we had over 900 people. We had 77 celebrities, people like Chris Beard with us, Hall of Famers. And they all come free. And they all made it possible to be there to help kids. Because they're dads in many cases, grandparents. You have a child. My heart broke reading that book. But yet it's inspired me. I heard a couple of people today talk about, oh man, I'm worried the economy. Oh gee whiz, we've had a couple of bad days on the stock market earlier. And it's just unbelievable. Are you kidding me? That's not a problem. That's nothing. Travel, oh wow. I gotta travel 3 hours. Oh man, I think it's tough going back home. Are you serious? What they go through every day? Unbelievable. I can't imagine. But you know what this room, to me, is about? It's about one word. It's about love. L-O-V-E. There is so much love in this room. There's so much passion in this room. There's so much caring in this room. Because any of us could be in his shoes. But he hasn't stopped. There's no quitting that guy. Just meeting him, I can tell. We often say in sports, a quitter never wins and a winner never quits. We talk about our geniuses 1% inspiration, 99% perspiration. The more one perspires, the more of a genius they become. And Timmy's becoming a genius along with Rhonda, who I met here tonight and reading the book. My God, what they're doing with Team Luke and Hope for Minds is off the charts. Caring about others, helping to get dollars to help others. You saw the video. And as Chris said, and I would echo those comments, if you're able to give and help, it's a great feeling to reach out and to help people in need. You know, I grew up in a great home. My home, as I told the crowd Friday night, I came from a home with so much love. I'd give anything if my mom and dad were living today to share some of the things that have happened in my life. I mean, think about this. And the first one I got in because of Coach Knight. He went out of his way to get me into the Hall of Fame as a contributor to the game of basketball. Today I'm in 14 Hall of Fames where I coach, high school, college, Hall of Fame in basketball, College Hall of Fame, Sportscasters Hall of Fame. You know what? Look at me. I can't run, I can't jump, I can't shoot, and I got a body by Linguini. And yet I'm in 14 Hall of Fames. I'm there because all my life I had energy and enthusiasm. And I learned two things from my parents. My mother and father were uneducated. They had a 5th grade education, but they had a doctorate of love. And I taught my brother, sister, and I in this great country we live in, the one thing I would hear every day, Richie, never Dick, in her own Italian way, Richie, don't ever believe in can. I lost my eye as a kid. I thought at that moment it was the end of the world. And my mother inspired me so much. Told me, don't ever believe in can't, Richie. You can be what you want to be. And I would hear every day at my dinner table, Richie, be good to people. Be good to people, and people will be good to you. I'm getting an honor on Monday night that I'm in awe of, that I should never even get, to be honest with you. But I'm getting an honor, the highest honor you can get in broadcasting. It's a Lifetime Achievement Award, an Emmy Award, and I'm getting it, and I looked at the list of people on that. Oh my God, I can't believe my name will be with them. Howard Cosell, Keith Jackson, friend of Bob's, people like Vince Scully, John Madden, and Dick Vitale. I was never a broadcaster to me. I don't think I'm broadcasted today. Bottom line is I'm a jock because somebody gave me a microphone to talk about a game I love. And my bosses, I will tell them, they go to these great schools like academically Harvard and Stanford and Yale, but they're dummies. Because if they had any brains, they would know they're paying me all those dollars and I would do it for nothing. Are you serious? Getting paid to talk about a game I love? It's stealing money, man. My father worked. He pressed coats every day in a factory, 7 in the morning to 4:30. Sweatshop, pressed. The more coats he pressed, the more money he made. And then he would come home, would sit around a dinner table, and I learned so much. I learned about love. I learned about family. I learned about adversity. I learned about tough times. I learned so much at my dinner table from two people who were uneducated, but had a doctorate of love, man. It was unreal, and I miss them so much. And then my father would put the security guard uniform on and go walk the mall from 7 to 12 or 7 to 11, whatever time. That was his life. His life was tough, but it was a great education for me. Great education. I've been a boy, a ball, a dream. Had my dreams, my ball. I read your book, Tim, and I just thought of myself there. Sports fanatic. You are a sports fanatic, chasing dreams and goals with your son. But now you're not playing catch, not playing baseball. But you know what you're doing? You're playing ball with your son. You're connecting with people all over this nation in a positive manner. When I go back to ESPN, I'm going to tell them and try and get in touch with you. This is a story that should be heard nationwide. This is a story that should be told to people about what you've done. The love you demonstrate is just incredible. I can't say it any more than that. I know my wife and I, I'll admit it. The pilot turned around. He said, "What is going on? Has something happened?" We were crying like babies on that plane. I couldn't get through that book. I could not get through. It just had me so choked up. And I think that this room, I've been told, I met Coach Wells, know Coach Beard, heard the basketball women's coach talk here. I know Gerald Myers. This room is filled with a lot of great people. This room is filled with a lot of successful people. But most of all, it's filled with people that care, that give a damn about one another. And to me, that's being a champion in the biggest game we all play, the game of life. The game of life. And I'm telling you now, the one thing I love about my guy, Mr. Siegel, there is an quit in his body. He was a tennis star. He did super in tennis. Great player at the University of Arkansas. 23 years, served as a coach here. And then wanted to spend that unbelievable time with his family. Well, he's spending time with his family now. I met such a beautiful family. His daughters. I met Alex today. Starting to be pregnant. I met the girls sitting here, Kate and Ellie, Jenny. I met them. And you can feel in that home so much love. And again, that's what this is all about. It's about love and it's about giving. It's about extending a hand with warmth in your heart, extending it to one another, to reach down and to really, when it's time, and they want donations. If you can do it, please, I beg you. I beg you. I look at my career, and when I look at it, I've been so blessed. I got fired coaching in the NBA. I thought it was the end of the world, man. I was on a fast track. I was like going from the 7th grade teaching, coaching in high school, winning 2 state championships, and then going on being an assistant at Rutgers University, and then moving on to University of Detroit. And in every stop, we were very blessed. Very blessed that at the University of Detroit, first time in the history of the school, going to the NCAA tournament. At Rutgers, they went to the Final Four in 1976. And in 76, there was UCLA. There was Michigan. There was Rutgers. And then there was the shy, introverted coach from Bloomington, Indiana, with a 32-0 record. The only unbeaten record since then hasn't been there, coached by this very shy, introverted guy, Robert Montgomery Knight. And oh man, did they play basketball the way the game is supposed to be played. They shared the ball, they defended, they played as a team, and they absolutely did everything the right way, put a clinic on in every game going. I want you all to give Coach Knight a big hand right here. I want you all to give him a big hand. I then make the mistake. He's right about that too. But you see, the bottom line is, I can tell you I made a big mistake. I went to the NBA. I went to the NBA, and you find out that level, pretty tough to win. I used to tell the owner, I said, Mr. Davidson, we can't beat Kareem and the Lakers. We can't beat Dr. J in Philadelphia with what we're playing with. And my wife kept saying to me, she always listens to your wife. She said, you can't talk to the owner like that. You're going to get fired. You keep telling him you can't. I said, I'm just telling him the truth. Well, one day my phone rang, and my secretary said, before you come to practice today, the owner's coming over to say hello to you. And my wife says, you're getting fired. I said, you're crazy. I only coached 10 games in my second year. No way. She said, but I heard you talking about you can't do this and you can't do that. She says, you're getting fired and you better prepare for it. So I'm going to go around the block with the car. When his limousine leaves, I'll come back here. Well, she goes around the block for about 20, 30 minutes, and he walks in. He's a very quiet, shy kind of guy, super guy, very wealthy. And he says, Dick, I hate to do this. We made a coaching change. I said, coaching change? What does that mean? He said, you've been fired. Fired? What? Well, you say you can't win, can't do this. You know what? I thought it was the end of the world. I was so depressed. You know what I was doing? My wife had to kick me out of the house. I was sitting home in my 30s, reaching a pinnacle, the NBA, going up that ladder, state championship teams, college teams, and now you're out there. Nobody calls you back. You don't get the same people you thought were friends. They're just associates with a great learning experience. But I was sitting home watching Luke and Laura. I mean, it was unbelievable. General Hospital, that's how depressed I was. And then my phone rang. And my phone rang, and a guy says to me, Dick, you don't know me. My name is Scotty. He said, I was the third guy when you played Michigan in the NCAA. They were number one in the country in '77, and you played them at Rupp Arena. I was in the arena at practice with the two guys that came with me who were going to announce your game on NBC. One was Kurt Gowdy, friend of Bob Knight's, a great guy. Kurt Gowdy was as good as it gets as an announcer, as a person. And the second guy was John Wooden. The Wizard of Westwood was going to be the analyst. And I said, I can't believe this. They're going to do our game? Wow. Well, he said, when we left the arena that night and you lost the heartbreaker, the number one team in the country, you got beat in the last minute, they told me, they said, hey, Scotty, you should hire that guy. I like his enthusiasm and his energy. Well, I just read in the paper that you were fired by the Pistons. He said, I'd like you to do our very first game. I'm with a new network. It's called ESPN. I said, ESPN? Sounds like a disease. What is ESPN? I said, are you kidding me? Well, I took that game. And 40 years later, man, I'm standing here after 40 years, and my boss told me Friday, we're going to extend your contract. See, I got a lucky break. The new president at ESPN, his name is Portaro. And I said, Jimmy, if you don't take care of me, I'll call my Uncle Luigi up at the mafia, and you're in trouble, baby. Well, Jimmy's going to take care of me big time. But I want you to take care of Tim, Jenny, and most of all, as Chris said, and I echo it, I've been at banquets, I've been at events, I've met many courageous people, but the courage displayed here by the entire Siegel family is off the charts. And if I were on TV right now, I would simply say, Tim, you're the 3S man. You're super, scintillating, sensational. And you and your family are PT peers, solid gold PT peers. You're primetime performers. And I would close by saying on ESPN, if I was doing a game and you were there, I would say the Siegel family and certainly my guy Luke, they are awesome, baby, with a capital A. God bless, thank you, and donate, donate. I want you people to donate, man, donate. Help them out. Thank you so much.
No, don't stop applauding. Are you kidding me? For something like that? No, no, no. Isn't it great? He may get a Lifetime Achievement Award, but how lucky are all of us that his lifetime of achievements aren't even close to being finished yet, huh? One more time for Coach Vitale and all our coaches who are with us tonight. Thank you so much, Coach. Thank you.